I want to go now to the amphitheater where Joe Skrzyewski is patiently waiting by. Now, Joe, we just had President Trump in the museum itself. How has the atmosphere changed there at the amphitheater in the last half hour, an hour or so?
Hey Jay, I'd say the atmosphere here has gotten maybe a little restless. People are anxious and excited to on the rest of the program for the day and to hear the president's address and hear the other speakers who are here. I gotta say, it is pretty warm here, so the people who are here are doing everything that they can to try to stay cool, cover themselves up. Temperature is becoming a factor today for certain as we sit here and wait for the president's arrival. We are hoping as the day goes on, maybe we'll get a little bit of cover. Maybe as the sun starts to go down as the day goes on, temperature will come down a little bit. But right now we're a little after noon, so we're at one of the warmer points of the day. So we have some people here with using umbrellas for shelter. People putting shirts over their heads, and fortunately a lot of people have hats. I don't have a hat, of course, but a lot of people here have hats, so they're doing everything that they can to stay cool. The concession stand is inundated. One thing we did notice is that the escalator here at the Burning Hills Amphitheater is out of service. It appears to be broken. Law enforcement on scene said that it was also broken yesterday as well. So that has cut off one way for people to get up and down from the parking lot to the amphitheater. However, the elevators are still working as well. So it doesn't seem like the ebb and flow of human traffic in and out of the amphitheater has been greatly impacted by that, but obviously it would be nice if the escalator was working. So just for people, if anybody's moving in and out of this area, just keep in mind that that option is not on the table. But definitely, people here are probably getting a little restless, anxious, getting ready to welcome the president here. A few moments ago, they just played Thriller by Michael Jackson, so I was about ready to bust out into the Thriller dance. I'm kidding. I'm not going to dance for our viewers. Yeah, I'd say that people here are roaring up and getting ready to welcome the president, Jay.
Well, Joe, I was just going to ask, how close is it for those that have never been to Medora, or at least recently? How close is the museum related to the amphitheater, and how long will it take the president to get there to the amphitheater?
Yeah, I mean, really, it shouldn't take too long for him to get here. Obviously, he has to come up in his motorcade, but the library is not that far from where we are right now. When the media took the buses up here earlier to re-enter the arena to begin our coverage for today, the buses were for the library and the amphitheater. It was all one and the same, so that shouldn't be too long of a wait unless something happens with the motorcade.
Joe, quick question for you. Are people treating this more like a historic moment, a political event, or maybe is it something in between that you're seeing?
Well, I hate to use this as a cop-out, but I would say it is a little bit of an in-between. There's a lot of apparel and signs are largely prohibited, but there is a lot of people wearing Trump hats and Trump T-shirts in honor of the president. There's a lot of Trump supporters here, obviously. This is a speaking event for him, but it is very much an historic event for the people who are here. I think people here, at least the people that me and our reporter Hannah have talked with, have said that they came here because they felt a connection with President Roosevelt and his story of how he kind of became the person that he was meant to be in his time in North Dakota. So I think by and large, people came here because they wanted to be part of something special. They wanted to be part of a special event and be part of this once-in-a-lifetime event here in the Badlands.
Joe, are you seeing people from outside North Dakota more, or is this mostly a really local turnout?
Oh, yes. No, we're seeing some people from outside of North Dakota, obviously some from Montana, but we spoke with people from California. Hannah interviewed somebody from New York State just a little bit ago that is traveling and happened to be in North Dakota at this time, so they decided to come to this event. So we're seeing people really from all over the country who have come here, and even some people that are originally from other countries that now live in the United States but are native to other countries that have come here to take part in this historic event. So while this is a North Dakota event, we are seeing people here and talking with people who are from other states, including the east and west coasts.
Joe, what are people wanting to hear at this event today? What are they telling you?
Well, people are telling us that they would like to hear, the president's thoughts about North Dakota, and they would like to hear about Teddy Roosevelt's legacy. They would also like to hear from, President Trump getting the chance to talk about the current issues of the day and the current issues going on in the world and what, they want to see from the administration at this point in time in history. As I said earlier, this is a pivotal time for the administration as we are in this midterm election. The president just announcing that later this year there's going to be a special Republican National Convention for the midterm election. So you can tell that even though there's the immediate purpose of this event of honoring Teddy Roosevelt and celebrating America, there is also the goal for the Republicans who are here sharing their message of why they think that their sitting candidate should be reelected to office.
Joe, have you heard from any of our state delegation at all, or any local leaders about this visit?
Yes, we had the chance to speak with Senator John Hoeven earlier this week. He was in Minot, and he talked about the excitement that this event was bringing to Medora and to North Dakota. The senator said that he spent time with the president. He had dinner with the president earlier this week. Of course, he came on the trip with the president, as our viewers saw earlier, and he said that the president was excited for this trip coming to North Dakota. Earlier today, we also saw that Representative Fedorchak took Air Force One. She shared on social media her journey as well. So our congressional delegation has been very involved with this trip.
I might have asked you this question already once, Joe, but of course we always get newer viewers and it's always good. What is it like to navigate through security? What has that been like through this experience since you started this morning?
Just going to grab a drink of water here. So it's a hot day here, so it's important for everybody to stay hydrated here. We actually just had some paramedics that went by with a flatbed, so excuse me for that. So everybody here is trying to stay cool and do the best that they can. Your question about security. So with regards to security, it's been a very tight operation, I would say, since we got here this morning. We had to drop our equipment off here before this morning when it was still dark, and then we had to leave the arena, and then we had to come back later so that security could do swabs. Just checking here to see if there's something going on. No, I guess not. All right, I'll keep talking about security. Sounded like we were getting a notification here about something. So, oh, hang on. Sounds like we might be getting something here, folks. They just stopped the music for a moment. While we wait for to see what's happening here, we've had to go through multiple levels of security. The media, when we were coming through here, we had to have our bags checked. We had to go to a separate place to get our credentials. With regards to guests coming through here, go through magnetometers and everything along those lines. And we're in the amphitheater, so we're not seeing what. We were able to, when we came in earlier today, see that some of the streets in downtown Medora is not a huge town, bear in mind. Some of the streets in Medora, were blocked off to, funnel traffic a certain way and protect certain lines of traffic for when the motorcades would be coming through. Whenever you have an event like this, it's a very elaborate thing for security to do. Now, I suppose that there's a benefit for security when you have a town like Medora that is smaller and maybe the streets are easier to control, but the flip side to that, you're in the middle of the Badlands. So the Secret Service has had to secure the area around this arena, and they've had to do that now for weeks on end, so we've been told. You know, you have a lot of open space. This isn't an enclosed arena. I remember back when we covered the convention in Milwaukee in 2024, you know, that's a major metropolitan area, and there's multiple different arteries that were getting to the arena where the convention was taking place. So they had to work with city leaders in a major city in order to barricade certain areas to prevent bad actors from getting inside. You don't necessarily have that with a town like Medora, excuse me, but you know, you still have the added threat of the Badlands surrounding you and making sure that that is all secure, and especially having this open area. A viewer actually shared an interesting photo showing the restricted airspace over the city of Medora. I saw that on social media, and the range in which you can't fly over the area is actually pretty remarkable. But it's understandable because you have a lot of important people here in this setting today. Jay?
Well, thank you, Joe. We're going to give you a bit of a break. You get yourself some ice cold water, cool down just a little bit. We are going to switch it over to the weather desk with meteorologist Megan Chatham. Megan, tell me, what's the weather like? As I can see a little bit smoky there in the background, but what's as far as the temperatures? What are we looking at here?
We do have that nice warm afternoon. It is a little bit on the hazy side because we have that wildfire smoke mainly up in the atmosphere. It hasn't quite settled down to the ground yet, but there is a look at Dickinson. Again, clear skies otherwise, but that hazy clear sky. And those temperatures, again, nice and warm, low 70s in the north where we do have some cloud cover that we'll look at in a minute, but those upper 70s and low 80s in the south where we do have that clearing sky. Now our smoke thickness is heavier in those orange areas, and that does include the Dickinson, Medora area. So again, a little bit of that smoke is sitting around, and some of that is down to that orange level, unhealthy for some. For the air quality, again, towards Medora. So unfortunately, where we do have a lot of people enjoying the afternoon and getting to see this historic day. As we head through the rest of today into tonight and tomorrow, that smoke tries to clear out a little bit, but there it is coming right back. Again, this is that smoke aloft. Doesn't look like it's settling down to the ground too much as we head into tonight and even through the day tomorrow. And like I mentioned, those clouds a little bit to the north. As we take a look at those, there they are. There's that thicker cloud cover again along the Canadian border. Few clouds filtering through the southern part of the state. Under those clouds, maybe some light rain showers, but where we have everybody outside, it looks like some sunshine, those warm temperatures for the rest of today. For tomorrow, though, unfortunately, another chance of some severe weather, that level 2 out of 5, wind gusts upwards of 70 miles an hour, some very large hail, up to 2 inches in diameter. An isolated tornado is all possible. But again, for the rest of today, we're going to remain on the quiet side with that sunshine. We are keeping the winds mostly light, those temperatures on the warm side. For the day tomorrow, we're going to be nice and warm again, but it's towards the afternoon and evening hours where we could see those thunderstorms start to develop, especially south central and southeastern parts of the state. Looks like, again, some scattered severe storms are possible for tomorrow evening before those clear out for Friday. But again, for the rest of today, some hazy sunshine. We'll keep those temperatures nice and warm. Just another look at Dickinson with that hazy sunshine. But as you can see, those trees are not moving. Again, we do have some more chances of some thunderstorm activity for tomorrow, but for tonight, we should remain pretty clear overall.
Well, Megan, is there any way we can schedule these scattered storms and tornado warnings and watches for after the 4th holiday?
I really wish I could say yes, we can, but we can't control the weather too much.
Okay, well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Of course, we are waiting for President Trump to hit the amphitheater, and while we're waiting for today's program to get underway, this moment is years in the making. Now, the Theodore Roosevelt Library officially opens now later this week. Built in the Badlands, where Roosevelt spent some of his most formative years of his life, he arrived in North Dakota as a young man, grieving and searching for purpose. and left with a vision that would shape his presidency. From conservation to the creation of national parks, today's dedication marks the final step before the public gets its first look at this landmark project, tying together history, place, and the legacy of President who, well, believed deeply in the American West. President Trump's arrival in North Dakota is focused on the dedication of the new Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library. Now the facility gives visitors an inside look at Roosevelt's life. It's in conjunction with America's 250 celebration. KFYR's D.C. Bureau reporter Stephen Goen has more on Roosevelt's legacy and its impact.
Here in Washington, Theodore Roosevelt Island stands as a tribute to our 26th president. But this week, there's a new chapter being added to his legacy in North Dakota. For a president who left his stamp on America's foreign policy while also taking on some of the biggest corporate monopolies of his day, it's Theodore Roosevelt's conservation legacy that may be the most enduring. Roosevelt championing these lands and landmarks that still draw millions of visitors each year.
We're glad that he's conserved them. We're glad that his commitment to conservation has allowed us to walk along ancient redwoods. There's some pretty incredible sights.
As president, Roosevelt fought to protect about 230 million acres of public land, creating the U.S. Forest Service. He also established 18 national monuments and 5 national parks during his time in office.
I always thought he was kind of a heroic type person. He was kind of larger than life person in a way. Since I've been to so many national parks, I've always appreciated the things he did for the national parks.
And now there's a new place dedicated to Roosevelt's story. The Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library opens this week in Medora, North Dakota, where Roosevelt spent time ranching as a young man.
He kind of really demonstrates what American independence is all about and spirit. And he said if it hadn't been for his time in North Dakota, he'd never be president.
President Trump is scheduled to attend a dedication ceremony Wednesday, providing a first look at the library, which showcases Roosevelt's life and the work he did that continues to shape America more than a century later. In Washington, I'm Stephen Goen.
All right, as we bring you back here, we are going to get a live look. Is that right, Brian? I think we're heading now to the amphitheater. There you go. There's our live look right now. As we await the remarks from President Trump. Of course, other dignitaries will have an opportunity to speak as well. We are expecting Interior Secretary Doug Burgum. He will at least make a mention as well. And President Trump will be on. Minutes ago, before we go any further, Brian, I just want to pass along. Minutes ago, the President and Secretary Burgum stood facing the pool as Secretary Burgum's voice was heard on speakers reading a famous Man in the Arena excerpt from President Trump's tour of the library that they just, I believe, wrapped up. Their Citizenship in a Republic speech that former President Roosevelt delivered in France back in 1910. Now, Secretary Burgum told the pool of reporters that President of the United States' voice will be heard delivering the excerpt from the museum when it formally opens. And next, Congresswoman Julie Fedorchak was on Air Force One with the president earlier today. Now she sent out a message on Facebook before boarding the plane.
Today is a really big day for North Dakota, and it's an exciting day for me to be the lone rep for North Dakota in the U.S. House. I'm just about to board the new Air Force One on its inaugural flight, heading to North Dakota with President Trump to dedicate the Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library. Come along with me.
And of course, as we welcome that permanent fixture in the Medora, Brian, do you want to take that live? Or should we keep her right here? Okay, we can keep her here. As we, okay, let's take the stage live. There we go. Perfect. A little Elvis music playing there in the background. Burning love action for getting anticipation and ready for the president to take the stage. I'm sure, as I mentioned, Interior Secretary Doug Burgum will have remarks. We're hoping around at least 2 o'clock, so we're about 12 minutes shy of what they have on the itinerary, but of course, that's very fluid. That could change at any moment. As we bring Atticus Peed in with us here to the news desk. Now, I'm not sure how much you've seen so far this morning and early afternoon, Atticus. Your early thoughts on it?
Well, how can you not be watching?
Yeah.
Again, unique day in North Dakota. Unique, striking image to see the Freedom Train coming in like that with the Rough Riders leading the way.
Rough Riders, yes.
Boy, that was a great touch. You heard from Wayne about the Freedom Riders, or the Rough Riders rather, how that all came together late. Such a unique visual there. And then, of course, the president, we assume now, still on the tour of the Presidential Library. Really unique spot and moment in time.
I really, really, really want the president, Atticus, to ride up the hill like that's in fact part of the amphitheater Medora musical where, you know, TR rides up the hill and the horse roars back. I want President Trump to do that today.
You know, it's
really
not listed on the itinerary, on the press agenda. It's pretty vague, though. You never know. There's a chance it could still happen. We'll see.
He could be maybe getting a saddle right now. Maybe that's what we're all waiting for, right? Other thoughts that you came across from today's events?
Well, it's just obvious how much he loves North Dakota, of course. Plenty of people there. Plenty of people here support him. Plenty of people in the delegation, of course. Big supporters of President Trump as well. I think that shone through very obviously how much he appreciates being here. And I mean, you could see the reception when he got off the train as well.
Great reception.
Strong reception, of course. Plenty of supporters and crowd there. I think you heard the USA chant start immediately the second he came out the door, and heard that continue until he got in the car. So whoever was doing that, I heard that the entire time.
A lot of folks, as soon as he got here into Bismarck, you know, were at the airport at least taking videos, photos of that as well. Tell us about that new plane that he's got. Isn't that a beautiful, beautiful new plane?
First time the new plane has flown, as well that we know of, with President Trump. That's the new plane, of course, that was donated. We've heard that President Trump will begin in just a few moments, so as soon as he does, we'll go ahead and cut over to him. Just be aware of that. But he flew here on his new plane that was donated by the Qatari government about a couple of years ago now, at the start of his presidency. That's been outfitted and retrofitted since, of course, and this his first voyage on it. What really stood out to me, the blue and gold.
Feel pretty special about that.
Yep.
It's really a nice looking plane. A couple things we'll switch back to. As Atticus says, we'll catch the amphitheater live in just a few moments. But first, the Medora musical, Chateau de Moray, Pitchfork Fondue. If the president had 2 hours of free time, which one do you think he's going to do, Atticus?
Well, you've already said the musical with the horse and everything.
That's my choice.
That's your choice?
What would you think?
Mine's going to be the Pitchfork
Fondue.
I'd never heard of it before today, and that's going to be the first thing my family and I go do when we head out to Medora. It looks amazing.
Take a delicious ribeye steak and you put it on the end of a pitchfork and you stick it in some hot oil and you fry it up and you put it on a plate and you eat it.
I don't know how it gets more American than that.
No, it is so good. I'm telling you now, believe me later. We talked to you. You haven't had a chance to visit Medora. That's something we need to put on your list.
Right.
TR's the ultimate outdoorsman. I'm really looking forward to what President Trump has to say as far as conservation is concerned. I really hope he includes that in his speech today.
Right, and it'll be interesting to see where things go. Of course, Doug Burgum, Secretary of the Interior, in charge of a large part of conservation as well and conservation efforts. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes, because there have been some people who have said the president's not fulfilling that legacy of President Roosevelt and sustaining, conserving federal public lands. So it'll be interesting to see what the president says, if he discusses that at all, what his efforts will be going forward. Of course, the big hallmark of this term has been energy dominance. And so that's really defined where things have gone so far. So it'll be interesting to see what he says, and if he does go down that road, how much he talks about it.
For those of us just joining, we are awaiting the president. He will be at the Burning Hills Amphitheater momentarily. We've got it set for about 5 to 7 minutes away here at the top of the hour. Speak softly, carry a big stick. That is TR's motto, and I think that fits perfectly for this president.
Well, you've already seen, he's already mentioned man in the arena, so you're already there on one of the phrases. I think speak softly, carry a big stick as well. That, of course, President Trump's mentioned in the past, a phrase that he enjoys and enjoys using as well and finds a lot of familiarity with. So, yeah, I think you'll see that mentioned a lot here with President Trump, both in his actions and words today. 2026
is an election year. We see President Trump sometimes goes off script with his speech.
Fair to say.
Could go long, could even go short. We'll see. How much of the speech do you feel is legacy for TR or more for President Trump?
I think it's, I don't know completely what the distribution ratio would be. He will certainly talk about Theodore Roosevelt and obviously who's had a big impact on him. I think that will certainly be a very big part of the speech, and I would expect it to be the main part of the speech to begin with. As things go on, like you said, this is a pivotal time for America, not just midterm elections, but what the president's trying to do. Plenty of things on his agenda that are very changing. Will attempt to bring a large amounts of change to the country, be it overseas or here as well. So I think there's plenty for him to talk about beyond just Theodore Roosevelt. And I imagine he'll find a way to tie in Theodore Roosevelt's legacy, what he stood for, what that stands for today as well, and how he is attempting to further that legacy here. Of course, the president here at this presidential library, this, of course, is a very big deal to him. I think he'll make that a big focus of the speech.
I sure hope so. As we mentioned, you have not made a trip yet to Medora. We'll get that fixed. But I want to say, tell me a little bit about what this means to the community of Medora. I mean, this is national. This is a huge, huge event for that community.
And it's not just, of course, Theodore Roosevelt Park. It's a national park. Everyone's known about that for a long time. But now there's a landmark to this that really is driving home the American values that are behind this and the American president who established that and made this land matter so much. So I think what it is a national landmark that you can't miss. There are, of course, many places in the country that I think people would determine as can't-miss places, right? Be it national parks, be it museums, places, whatever it may be. This will be one of those. This is such a unique one that you just won't find anywhere nearby. I mean, there's nothing nearby like it except for Mount Rushmore, really.
Sure, yep. This marks President Trump's fourth official visit, 3 as a sitting, I think 1 as a candidate for president. That would essentially tie Theodore Roosevelt's cousin Franklin for 4 visits.
Wow.
Am I hearing? Oh, okay. I thought I was hearing. It is the. So 1934, FDR visited Devil's Lake. 36, FDR came to Bismarck for drought relief discussions. In 37, once again to Grand Forks to dedicate a fairgrounds grandstand. And then 42 to 44, he made several unpublicized visits to tour military facilities, and that's not a live look right now. That is a look back at a visit that he had 2017 at the Mandan Refinery, just a few blocks from my home, in fact.
Wow.
I live up there in that area. Thankfully, I was at work when that happened, so I wouldn't have been caught up in the rush of the Secret Service, right?
Well, this is a little different for if you live in Medora. I mean, your entire life is this event here today. This is a whole, I mean, what is it, about 200 people who live in Medora?
About that, yeah, full-time.
So full-time, right.
Yeah.
So this is a very unique way to live life out there right now because everyone, I'm sure, is at this today.
It really is. Again, we are awaiting President Trump. Should be in the next few minutes. As soon as we get word from the control room, we'll go right there to the Burning Hills Amphitheater. I don't know if we have Joe on the line. And okay, we're being told, let's go right to the stage right now.